I-V-M.
Long, long ago, not in Bethlehem, but in a place nearby, there was a wonderful birth of a huge show, which I like to call Cyrus Says. A show that encapsulates everything in human history, from the first Homo sapien to the last Homo sapien, who's traversed the entire world and then come back to India. This is a show which tells you everything about everything. If you want to know, avoid Google, come to us. It's called Cyrus Says. Get new episodes every Monday and Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts from. It's simple as A, B, oh God, what comes after that?
Cyrus Says is brought to you by Setu IMAX.
But what if I don't want to forgive? That's usually the response when I tell people, clients, family, or even friends to forgive and let go of the anger. I wonder why we find it so hard. Because sometimes we can clearly see how it's holding us back. And yet somewhere we're not willing to move forward. You've tuned into the Positively Unlimited podcast, and I've pulled the sixth card from my A-Z of PositiveAction deck. F for forgive. Yes, we're moving forward in alphabetic order, and you can listen to the A to E of positive action when you are done with forgiveness. All previous episodes are online on IVM Podcast app, website, and other podcast platforms. So one of my favorite quotes off of Facebook, you know those pictures that are always lining up on our FB walls or spamming our WhatsApp feed? One of them goes like this: holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Well, that makes us not willing to forgive like slow death, right? I don't mean to be morbid about your feelings or life experiences, but ask yourself, what's the point of holding on to that anger? What is it giving you? If being angry at someone, holding that grudge makes you happy, or is fuel for you to achieve something, then sure, hang on to it. It's an option. If not, then let it go. Even when you use the unwillingness to forgive as fuel, the whole purpose becomes to prove a point. One of two things will happen. When you do achieve what you set out to, you'll either thank the person for doing what they did. I mean, it led you to where you are, right? Which means your stubbornness to not forgive will turn into gratitude eventually. And you'll possibly understand the purpose of that experience. But you know what? You could also still feel empty inside in spite of achieving everything. It will have no meaning, no substance. Anger, like many of our negative emotions, is completely misunderstood. It's an emotion that is supposed to guide us to build the right boundaries in our relationships, including the one that we have with our own self. But when you give it this power, by refusing to forgive and let go, it will change you as a person. It will lead you to make unhealthy choices and place you in the very situations that you are trying to avoid over and over again. So sit down with your anger and have a conversation with it today. Ask this "I don't want to forgive" mantra that's on repeat in your head. What does it really want? You want to see the other person cry, hurt, maybe even die. Okay, I get you're hurting. The other person is living his or her life. It's unfair, it's unforgivable. But irrespective of what you want, the reality is that the other person is moving on and living while you are stuck, swirling in the darkness created by the memories of that incident. So now my question to you is this: are you using this anger to mask the pain because you don't know how to heal this wound? Because accepting what has happened is far more painful than living with this anger. One of the wisest women of our times, Oprah Winfrey, said two beautiful things about forgiveness. One of them was, forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have been any different. I often say that the past is a box of memories. The future is just my imagination. Well, that makes both nothing more than illusions. In the present, they have no substance except in my thoughts. But these thoughts hold tremendous energy, and hence they hold the power to wreak havoc on our lives. Stay present. In this present moment, how is this anger, this unforgiving mindset serving you? Take that step towards acceptance first. Forgiveness may or may not follow. But for now, accept what you went through. Accept that it cannot be undone. Hold yourself through this pain and allow yourself to heal. Accept that you can and will break free from the shackles of those memories. Prepare to take just one step forward in a different direction, one that isn't followed by the shadow of, I don't want to forgive. This brings me to another thing that Oprah says about forgiveness. True forgiveness is when you can say thank you for that experience. I know there are exceptions to this line of thought. There are crimes in my book and in those of many others that are unforgivable, and nothing can make gratitude for that experience ever a possibility. But keeping those exceptions aside, things that happen in our daily life, anger towards a parent who was never there, or a spouse who cheated, or a friend who stabbed you in the back, know that there was a reason, a purpose, a lesson. And you can uncover those gifts that the universe sent you, although they were wrapped in really ugly wrapping paper, only when you are willing to forgive. The moment you open the door to forgiveness, the moment you stand in acceptance, you will see the situation and the person from a very different perspective. And each of those beautiful perspectives will give you a life lesson you need right now to become who you truly are. I have a 4-step process towards forgiveness. Mind you, this does not include forgetting. I remember what I experienced not because I'm still angry or I'm refusing to forget, but it's saved within my being as a warning system. Once I forgive, learn my lesson and move on with gratitude, I also know I never want to feel that way again. So listen to me carefully. Willing to forgive does not mean that you have to forget. Frankly, forgive and forget is not something that works for me, but forgive and let go, now that's something that makes all the sense in the world to me. So here's how I deal with anger that's wrapped in an I don't want to forgive paper. I first acknowledge my pain, and I understand what I'm really angry about. I don't judge my feelings or question it. I feel what I feel, and it's okay. I give myself this unconditional space, and that is step 1. I then work towards becoming indifferent to that person or that quality or trait of that person. I mean, you may not forgive someone for something, yet the person is an important part of your life, right? Family members are a great example of this. So instead of cutting ties, I accept the flaw in the person and work towards changing my behavior to serve me better and our relationship too. Also, in this step 2, the indifference in some cases is a temporary thing. It just allows me to heal. Step 3 is to absorb the lessons, and as I said a moment ago, it's to change what needs to change within me. Be it changing my reactions, or creating appropriate boundaries, or learning to make better choices. Once I'm progressing well through step 3, the last step, the thought, and in some cases an actual act of forgiveness, just comes naturally. Because I took the time and made the effort to work through my thoughts and feelings about the situation and person, I'm able to forgive, say thank you, and move on. Acknowledge the pain, replace the anger with indifference, temporarily or not. Implement the lessons learned, forgive, and move on. That, my awesome listeners, was F for Forgive. If you'd like to buy this powerful deck, A-Z of PositiveAction, it comes with a fabulous do-it-yourself kind of workbook. Log on to my website, circleofpositivity.com, or connect with me on Instagram. My handle is @PositivityAngel. On Facebook, my page is called Circle of Positivity. This deck is a great tool to build strong habits and mindsets to help you have better relationships and create a life you desire. Also, don't forget to listen to the previous episodes of the Positively Unlimited podcast on IVM Podcast app, website, and other podcast platforms. So until next Monday, I hope you find the courage to let go of that anger.
There she stands, a podcast addict. Outside the bank, having traveled several miles to get in with other poor souls like her. The journey, though daunting for this youngling, will have some comfort because she has downloaded her favorite podcast. You can see more of her species on ivmpodcasts.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.